Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your host, Mo Crosby. I am here today, back another day to give you guys Star Trek Discovery, our review and reaction to the latest episode of Discovery. And with me to do this, as always, how do I do this? With me to do this, as always, is my esteemed co-host, guests, people, persons, friends, Stephanie and James.
I was gonna do this like cool, I'm drinking out of a Star Trek mug intro, and then you just botched that. So.
I was trying to figure out the right words. But hi. Oh, Stephanie and James. I'm sorry, I keep messing your name up. Wait! Oh my god, my mind is blown because I see it. It's Stephanie and James.
We forgot to change it after.
No, it's okay. It's It's too late. It's already set. You're in the show now as Stephanie and James. No. Never mind. And Anthony.
Hey.
Save me, please.
Who was awakening me from my 1,000-year slumber to talk about what? Hold on.
Here we go. Speaking of, so this episode was 100% Terran Universe, and I loved it. Well, not 100% Terran Universe because it started with like a little bit of boring regular universe, and then went into like exciting stuff. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Did Ant just smell his mug to discern if he should drink what's in it or not?
I think he did.
I was trying to see this what it was, and I was like, "This is an orange juice." I was trying to make sure there wasn't no alcohol in it in the morning because me and Patrick were casted late last night, and so I was drinking. So,
oh wow.
I do not have a problem.
This is tea, by the way. Just putting that out for people. This is tea.
You can't judge me.
Sorry, no, you can continue with the podcast now.
Yeah. Has there ever been a podcast where it's just going like really smooth? No, okay. This is our thing now, right?
This is part of our charm.
Right. Anyway, so welcome. What did you guys think about the episode, like when it ended? Let me start with Stephanie. Yeah, I'll start with Stephanie.
I was bored.
Interesting.
Didn't care.
Wait, that's it?
You were asking for my end of episode thoughts? Yeah. I wanted my hour back.
Oh man.
James?
I don't in general like mirror universe stuff, so I can take it or leave it.
Mirror Porthos. What?
Is Mirror Porthos in an episode? Or is this just like hypothetical thing that you love?
No, he is a thing. I'll send it to you guys. Anthony, hold on, let me find my phone. I'm so excited.
This is what I will say. Like, I was trying to enjoy it, and then Stephanie ruined it for me.
I did? How did I ruin it?
You brought up good points about Michael's stuff that was going on, and I realized that I think I would have enjoyed this episode a lot more if Michael wasn't put in other situations before this episode that didn't have anything to do with her. Or if this was going to be such a central Michael and Georgiou type of thing, I think I would have gotten a lot more out of this episode. I will say this, the cast seemed like they were having fun being there, the doppelgangers or whatever. Any 40K fans, Georgiou's outfit was real Emperor Mankindish to me, and I was digging that. Overall, I didn't find it offensive.
Is that the bar?
Yeah, I was about to say that, and that's what I was saying. When I finished the episode last week, I was like, "Oh, I liked it." And then you went up and taught something, and I was like, "Man, no, I just wasn't offended by anything in this episode." So, I mean, it's all the bar. But Mirror Universe is your jam, Mo. What do you think?
Oh, I loved it. That's me, I think.
What you love about it?
Everything I loved. For starters. Wait, we can't. Are we talking? Are we going to? Wait, are we doing this? Am I like answering questions?
Yeah.
I want to know what you love.
I never answer questions.
This is Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. I think I'm gonna cry. Let's see. I absolutely loved Killy. Like from the first time we saw her, well, the first time we saw her, she was pretending to be Killy, and now I actually love Killy as Killy. I loved seeing that fight between Owo and what's his face for territory. Yes.
It doesn't matter what.
Yeah, he doesn't matter. But I loved seeing the fight, and I loved how Georgiou explained that to them, or to how Georgiou said to Michael, Owo was going to win because Owo was fighting for something different. I just love Mirror Universe. Again, I love how all these characters that we know, well, most of the ones that we know, switch up and play different versions or like the evil versions of themselves. One thing I didn't like though was they kept mentioning a person's name and he never showed. I was hoping
you're going to be upset about that.
I was hoping beyond hope that we'd see like, and we didn't,
or something.
Yeah, just something like a badge or just something.
You wouldn't have liked if he showed up this time.
Why not? Oh yeah, because he would have been himself. Yeah, you're right. Not the self he was pretending to be.
Well,
but
go ahead. Sorry, this is your time.
Also, Georgiou's struggle because she's been in regular universe and then now she's like back home and it's like, dang, like I've actually started assimilating. As much as she's an asshole in the regular universe, she's learned and she's picked stuff up and she's, in a way, I think she's just trying to save herself. So she's just using what she's learned from regular universe to kind of like see things differently. But I think ultimately it comes down to self-preservation, which is everything Terran about Terran and Terra Nova. But I love it. Wait, is Terra Nova? No, Terra Nova is something else. I'm sorry. But yeah, I love it. I loved it. What else? Who else? Well, you know what's funny? Because this is what I don't care for the characters for the rest of the Discovery crew on Discovery, but in the Terran universe, I love them. They're way more dynamic and they do stuff that I care about. Like they kept showing Detmer, and I was expecting to see implant, but no implants. I'm like, in this universe, she has no implants. So I wonder. So now it makes me think what happened to her, or what could have happened. Where she got the implant. What could have been an accident, or just something.
It happened when
Michael
started the war.
Oh yeah, it was the war. So eventually, she never. You're right. She never had in the Terran universe. She never had a reason to have it. Why? Which is surprising to me because I would think in this exact universe she would definitely have it because of some stupid shit that they did, some fight for no reason other than to prove superiority or something. But
I don't think that Terrans operate that way. I think if you get to the point where you need cyborg implants, you should just be offed.
There's no convalescent care in this universe,
right? Like that. I mean, Georgiou is so freaked out because she's weak.
She has
a medical impairment. I think in Terran Mirror universe, after that accident, they just leave Kayla to die.
Yeah, I think that one thing I will say about it, I did like
Enterprise.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was thinking out
loud. One thing I did like is I liked the looks they gave every time Georgiou made a
Terran
ruthless decision.
Yeah.
Except I personally, you want to establish that she's a genius so much that she can figure out blinking is going to take out holograms or whatever. In my mind, I'd have been like, no, that's too easy. Put her in the pain tube or whatever. I want to hear it. I forget what they call it, but you know what I'm saying. That thing from
Enterprise. That real quick.
Yeah, they had it in the first season actually.
Yeah, and so I mean, like, put her in the pain tube. That sounds so 1930s, like melodrama. But like, I mean, she could have played it up in a different way, to sound ruthless, and it was kind of like, we're gonna write this. They can smell the weakness on her. But I did like their acting when she made a decision that wasn't as ruthless. Like, I'm still trying to get used to people's names.
Just say Owo, like it's cool. Yeah.
Owo?
Yeah, Owo. Yeah.
Oh, like when she looked up, she's like, "What? I can't kill her right now?" Like type of thing like that.
Right.
Stamets' counterpart was dumb as hell. I thought he was smarter than that in the other universe.
And that's something I didn't like too, because in season 1, he was smart. If we go back to, because he did appear in season 1, he wasn't off. This is a new mirror.
Sometimes Georgiou's lover, I think she mentioned in the first season, like there's way better opportunities to kill her than on the stage, surrounded by her personal guards and stuff like that. I don't know.
But if you kill someone on the stage surrounded by the personal guards, don't you? Aren't we going by Riddick rules, where if you kill it,
you claim it.
You claim it.
Michael was making the bid for a dramatic change of power.
I mean, so if he kills her, he's not going to last long as emperor. like
yeah, I think that was the plan.
Emperor Michael is.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying, like, if you keep what you kill, I mean, I guess Michael could have been like, I'm the emperor. I don't know. I did like the performance art.
Yes, I mean, Stamets was dying no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. Whether Georgiou killed him or Michael killed him, he was dying.
That's what I'm saying. He could have put himself in a better position than.
Right.
I did love the performance art stage of it all, and the what do you call it? The acrobatic rope silk thingy threads.
Silk dancers.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I don't know. Like the things we can always say about Discovery is that the visuals are there, the graphics are there, the the artistic visual is there. It's just
the acting is there.
Michael overacted to me in this, and in the original first season, it made it seem like Lorca digmatized her, right? So in this one, they made it seem like that she was the mastermind, because of course, no universe Michael can be fooled or corrupted.
No, I think it was still Lorca at the end of the day.
Not in this episode.
I think it was still, because I mean, he probably sold her the dream of. He probably sold her that she could be master of all, and if she takes out her mother, and probably,
and they could be using each other. It could be a using each other thing. And from Lorca's perspective, he was the puppet master. From her perspective, she's the puppet master. I mean, it could be that too. But I've been seeing all the memes of the Michael laugh, smile, evil thing online. It was a lot.
Wow. Oh wait, you're done?
I mean, I got theories, but that's about it.
Okay, so
nothing really happened. Nothing really happened this whole episode, man. It took an hour. You could have put this in a 20-minute short, pretty much. Nothing happened. Like, all right. Y'all got quiet. I mean,
no, because we're waiting. I thought there was a follow-up. I think every show has a throwaway filler episode. This felt like
This is a two-parter. This is
probably the third part.
This is something for 2 parts. That means you couldn't fit enough story in the first part. So we're gonna, this epic. We need 2 hours to tell this story. You didn't need 20 minutes to tell this story.
So in that case, then how do you think this could have gone?
I don't know that. I'm guessing this is the Gate of Eternity. He stole this scene from Stargate Atlantis, seeing an older guy with the newspaper and all that stuff. But I'm guessing this is the Guardian of Eternity in some weird way. I mean, think about everything we saw. Was there anything that you couldn't squeeze, you couldn't edit out of this? Like, we really didn't need Saru. I mean, it was kind of foolish for her, because, like, look, she's so smart that she can destroy those androids with blinking, right? Then some part of you have to go, either this isn't real, this is an alternate timeline, this is something else. But I'm calculating that these people will not follow me if I keep making these decisions. And survival is supposed to be her number one drive, right?
Uh-huh.
Like evolutionary is supposed to be number one drive. And I don't mind little moments or her feeling bad about stuff afterwards or contemplating it, but like, I mean, we see where this is going to go. She's going to lose loyalty. Unless there's some kind of twist, she's going to lose loyalty of the people. Probably Killy's going to be emperor because everybody loves Killy.
Do you think that, I mean, I if I were in that scenario and I walked through a magic door in the middle of a frozen wasteland, I don't know that I would believe that what I was doing would matter. Like that,
right,
I would wake up at some point.
Probably some kind of construct, or there's something in my,
Right. And so I think she's playing that longer game of who's the actual audience for what's happening right now. Is that guy reading a newspaper paying attention to what I'm doing? Is he trying to judge whether or not I deserve to be cured or not? Like, I think there's more to this isn't just Georgiou in the past in her own universe doing something. It's time traveling, universe jumping Georgiou trying to learn the rules of this new game that was not explained to her.
And if that's what she's doing, okay, that's a smarter tactic. I just didn't get that from this. Also, did the universe bend to try to save Georgiou? Like, I don't understand why the universe would care. And why didn't this happen to Lorca? Because Lorca also time traveled and universe hopped.
He didn't. No, he never time traveled. He just
in the first season they go into the future, like a couple years or years in the future, and the Federation is losing the war.
No, they came from when they came back from the mirror universe.
They were in the future.
No, they were in whatever present.
No, they went to the future. Go back and look at it. They leave and then they come back, and it's months afterwards. Because
when they came back, he wasn't there though.
Huh?
He was never there when they came back. Because when they went to the mirror universe, he dies there.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
I love how hard Anthony goes, and then how quickly he just drops it.
Well, because if you prove me wrong, you prove me wrong. But
what did happen?
He's a forgettable captain. I forget where he was there and where he wasn't. I hardly remember his scene.
Whoa. Okay.
I remember falling. He fell a lot.
He fell into the sun on the ship on the new ship.
Also, why isn't she affected by light anymore?
That's what I was gonna say. Whatever happened to Lorca was when he came in, he had to dim the windows. He had to put tints on the windows. Oh my god! Oh, please. I'm cut. And thank you very much for doing this episode with us. We're done. And we will catch you next week for part 2. Oh, please don't tell anyone.
Yeah, but what happened to that light weakness? Is that just gone? We forget about that?
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone.
I've been telling Patrick to start watching at 16:30.
Oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, he got a lot of joy when I told him last night about what happened last week with the window thing.
Are you
It's
serious?
an ongoing revelation. It's great.
This is.
We all got blind spots. Yours just have to be Windows. That's kind of a weird blind spot.
I want to go back to something you said, Anthony. You didn't think Saru made sense in this? Like, we didn't need him? I kind of think that it shows that she did churn. Like, if you didn't have Saru and she's changing her decisions, there's no like grounds for her to change her decisions. With Saru there's at least somebody that she's built a relationship with, even if it's antagonistic.
She saw him as a person. That's what they were showing. She saw him as a person and not food or emergency rations like I see him. So yeah, I get that from that perspective. I'm just saying that a lot of nothing happened in the episode. Like there's no need for this to be a 2-parter. There was no need for a 2-part.
I mean, this whole episode was to establish that Georgiou has feelings, but we already know that, right? We've already witnessed that in the way that she cares for Michael.
Yeah.
And the fact that she hasn't pieced out from the crew yet. Like, we don't need a 2-parter to learn that she's getting a conscience.
Right. Is this her Scrooge story? Are we watching her Scrooge Christmas story? Is this what's going on? Because
I think so. But I also don't have faith that the show is going to follow through on it, right? They don't, which is my complaint about the show in general, is that I don't think like she's going to go through this 2-parter emotional journey of, maturity and growth as a human being with emotions. And then she's just going to go back to her same old shenanigans and nothing is going to be different.
Will they be writing her one-liners and all her scenes where she's just quippy for no reason? And I wonder if this is them trying to make her a protag because again, they still haven't like dismissed the rumors of that stupid concept of Section 31 show. So if they're trying to make her a protag for some reason,
might be where she dies. I think this is where she pieces out. I might be the only one that thinks she's going to die either this season or the next episode. Like, she's gonna come to a revelation and then take it to the grave with her. That's why I am with her on this.
That seems possible. That would, as much as I think Georgiou needs to move on, that would be so annoying from like a writing perspective. Like, why spend 2 episodes making us care about a character that you're going to get rid of? Like, that it's just another notch post of emotional manipulation from these show writers.
That's the MO though, right?
It's so annoying.
Yeah, like how about
I don't care about the people that are staying. I only care about the people you're getting rid of. Like, stop.
You know who I did like to see though? I think the security chief,
the security officer,
who came back in this, and I was so interested in that actress and that character that she like. I was interested to see how the security, and she has some antagonism. No, she had some beef with Michael, and in the first season they killed her quick, and so I was happy they got the actress back. I was like, can we get her? Like, I don't know.
Can we talk about the worst line of all 3 seasons?
Huh?
Can we talk about the worst line of all 3 seasons?
Oh,
it's not that bad of a line.
It is a horrible line.
It's not that bad of a line.
From that trash heap, I was master of that trash pile, and now I am nothing. That is the worst line.
It's not the worst line ever. We've heard worse. It's not the worst line ever, and I stand. That is my heel. And that is my hill.
That is your hill to die on?
That's my hill to die on.
So that was my problem with it. So if Lorca like emotionally manipulated her and they became a couple and that's why she changed, that's a better reason than I was the king of that trash heap.
But that is probably part of his manipulation, is that he pointed to her and he said, look, you were something. Even if it was nothing to people, you were something, and she's taking that away from you. Now you're just one of her followers, and don't you want more?
Retconning, so the Michael agency is always prominent, and so she can't ever be that quote unquote weak, even though it's not weak. Everybody gets emotionally manipulated at some point. Can't have Lorca do that. So
but that's exactly what it is. But that's exactly what happens. Is that, excuse me? Hey, look, this is where you were. Granted, you were something here at one point in your life, but now you're not because you want to follow her. All right, keep following her then. I can actually put in
line. That's a privileged line, right? So if you're king of the group home, right? Like if you're the toughest kid in the group home and a kid and some wealthy parents adopt you, and then you're like the president's son, you don't go, oh, I had so much power in the group home and now I have no power, even though I'm the second ranking highest person and that doesn't make sense. It's not even not even all emotions have to make sense, but that doesn't even make any kind of like.
Well, it did to me. So
no, see now if she was the head mobster of a planet or something like that, or she's the number 2 person in the galaxy. like
no one. I feel like no one gives her that much. I think it comes to a point where someone's like, yo, no one is going to give you respect unless you take it. This is the Terra universe where you have to take the power, not someone gives it to you. And I think she's like, look.
Well, that's a better excuse. That's a better excuse that I want to rise up, but not that I was king of the. If you are an orphan kid on a track, living in a junkyard.
Well, then I don't understand that. So I don't understand that angle, but I just see it as, go ahead.
But if there's so many other factors that control your life. That's the reason why you're bullying and controlling these other people that don't really have any power either. But you don't feel like you're in control. You're scared. There's so many other people around and forces around that control and dictate your life that somebody that was in control would see this as a step up. Somebody who wanted that much control, wanted that much power, would see this as a step up. And that makes more sense to kill her. Not because you took me off that trash heap, because I was king of that trash heap. I don't know. It didn't work for me, I guess, bottom line.
It's interesting that you think that is a product of Lorca's manipulation, because I felt like obviously she's in a coup with Lorca, but that was a moment of pure Michael. That was a moment of like, I'm expressing what I'm actually frustrated about, and it fell flat for me. Because for all the reasons that Antelope just said, like, it doesn't. If you're the king of a trash heap, there's still people above you, right? If you're living on the streets, you are still dodging police officers and cleanup crew and the person who owns the building your alley is in. Like, there's still people that you're dodging. So it's still a huge shift up. And now there's only one person above you. Like, that is an amazing advantage. So just super, super fell flat for me. And the like overacting that was put into the delivery of that line, like, really sunk it.
Well, I can see that, but this is something that, again, I heard it and I was like, okay, this is definitely 100% Walker, because going to look at the first season
wasn't even important enough to show in the show.
I hated that. I hated that his name just came up, and I'm like looking at every corner, every tenant window, and
even the weak thing made more sense to me. Like if she viewed her love for her as weakness, like even that would have made more sense to me than the trash heap line.
Right. If it was like you, like, especially if she was rejecting Georgiou of like, you're like, I can't be in this position because this is fake. Like, this isn't, if I'm going to be in this position, I'm going to earn it, which means I need to take you out because you're the only competition anymore.
That makes more sense to me. Yeah. You know, like, but the trash heap thing, I don't know.
What did you feel about the trash heap? Did you even register?
No, I didn't register, but you guys are making me think about it.
One thing I'm gonna have is James just chill on things. I'll probably live like 10 years longer. Like James like, yeah, that upset me too.
Final thoughts.
Let me read my notes. I don't remember.
But while she's looking that up, I'll just say, like, it's interesting that we're focusing entirely on the mirror universe when other things happened in the episode.
Remind us. Remind us.
What happened? Like, none of us are
like Book goes up to Saru, and I think he wants to. What was that about? Go ahead, Anthony.
The recap when he was like, "I want to stick around," and Michael was like, "Well, you know, we got to talk to our captain first." Like,
gotta talk to Dad.
I say you stay. His opinion don't matter, but we got to talk to the captain. Like, that made me so pissed off. For real. You know what I'm talking about when they were doing the recap? The Book was like, "I think I want to stick around." And she's like, "Well, you know, we got to talk to our captain to see if that's possible." She said it kind of like, "Nah, I got you, son. It don't matter what you say. I run this ship."
I did really like that moment from Saru, though, right? Like, so Book comes to Saru operating like a courier, trying to barter his value on the ship, and Saru is like, "Sit down, like, just wait for. There'll be a moment, I'm sure, but we're not gonna rush it." And I liked that.
I like that too. I thought that was Saru is
becoming more captain.
Yeah, but I feel like the show isn't letting him be captain. Like, I think it's the actor and the way the actor is delivering these scenes and stuff. Like, I know they wrote it, but like, it's something about the actor that the way he delivers those scenes is somebody you would have confidence in to be your leader or your supervisor or your, you know what I mean? Like he you know, and he's like, "Look, no, I do regulations books, but you'll get your chance." You know, just like we had to do that. Didn't shut him down. Left the door open for him to prove himself. I thought that was great. But again, why is Michael in the room with the admiral, and why is the admiral undermining the captain in front of his? Like, it annoys me so much, and make it seem like Saru was wrong. Like, you have a whole nother ship. Michael, Book, and Georgiou could have went off to the I'm gonna call it the Guardian of Eternity just because we don't know what it is yet. Sure. And done that while you guys were mobilizing. And again, you told us before, you're the most important and I guess advanced ship in the fleet at this point. And you kind of just started a war last episode. You can't. Hey, we don't. We're gonna let Terra die no matter. You know, I feel like the show universe bends to make Michael right. Like, and it was a moment.
So that was the scene that bothered me in the episode, and I absolutely agree with you. Saru made the right decision. We can't go. We just started a war, and then the admiral's like, "You'll be away from the fighting." Okay, go. And then tells Saru that the reason is not because they're going to be away from the fighting, but instead.
Every life matters. Every
life matters, and you need to be there to make sure you don't lose anyone. Like, you clearly made the decision because you didn't want them around in the fighting. What is actually happening in this moment?
He's a rum-tum tugger. The admirals from do you know what It's from T.S.
I've had
Eliot.
a very experienced life stuff, and I don't know what that is.
No, sorry, it's from T.S. Eliot's Cats poems, not the musical, but the actual book of poems. A Rum Tum Tugger is a cat who wants out, and when the doors close, and then once you let him out, he wants back in. Like he's never satisfied with what scenario he's in.
Oh, that's me. Okay, gotcha. Go.
From a writing and storytelling perspective, the Admiral's function is to contradict Saru. Whatever Saru brings to him, the Admiral is going to do the opposite. And this cemented that because a couple episodes, one life was not worth deviating from the overall mission. Absolutely not, right? They got reprimanded and Michael got demoted because they should not have gone after one life. But now that Saru has learned that lesson, even though he knew it before, but like he learned the lesson, is putting it into practice, the Admiral's like, no, you're wrong. One life does matter.
Because the basic thing is Michael has to be right, and people are using, people in the forums are using this to justify. See, she should have went after Book in that thing. No, she shouldn't have. Like that had nothing to. There was no time constraint on. They could have waited 12 hours and went for Book. Like
he'd already been gone for 3 weeks at that point. Like if he's alive, he's going to be alive for another week. Right.
And she committed treason. It's like that's not treason. She endangered her crew. And people are arguing, breaking their backs to argue this. But no, if the XO just leaves the ship without telling anybody in a combat situation, that endangers everybody else. No one knows what's going on. And she took resources, which because Book's ship is amazing apparently. So
there's nothing that ship can't do.
Right. But people are using this situation to justify. So again, the universe bends to make Michael right. I don't want to hate Michael. I don't want to call her Mary Sue. I don't want to do these things. But they leave me no choice. They leave me no choice.
I do like the creepy glasses guy coming back. I was really curious about him the first time he showed up, so I'm really glad that he came back, which implies that he'll be back again, and we'll learn like who is this dude.
I think he's back for season 4.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Oh, we learned the Calvin timeline is canon in this now. Forgot about that. That they dropped that. See, I don't remember anything that. But until you brought up that glasses guy, I was like, yeah, he was in that. I do like him. What did he say? All right. So apparently, they know we're happening to Spock, which I like that. I don't, because it makes me really sad that Spock, and they even mentioned it early in the season that Spock just disappeared or whatever. And I liked it that someone, even if the guys that shared it general knowledge, that someone knows what Spock did, and then that's just my own personal.
You do realize though, it was Discovery that decided to save Georgiou and not Michael.
I'm sorry?
No, you're right.
Discovery came up with the idea of the planet to save Georgiou and not Michael.
The ship?
Yeah,
the ship. Yeah, so they asked the ship. Okay, that's another thing. Okay, this is my other problem. So they have a ship that can pretty much tell them anything, and they have a ship that can go anywhere with no time constraints or whatever. They are making their ship Superman, and it's going to be a problem because now we're going to ask if you have all the knowledge in the universe in your database, if you have the past capacity to be anywhere with no constraints, a lot of these problems, you're gonna have to really work to make something an actual issue.
That won't be an issue because the ship is conscious. It's going to start objecting to be like, I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. That's the only time it's going to happen is if it has personality and says, "Nope, we're not going there," or like Moya from Farscape kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So sometimes Moya be like, "Nope, ain't going." But Moya, don't bang my controller.
You want it to be like Moya, or do you want it to be like Talon, just randomly jumping wherever it wants to go?
Talon's a good example too. But so you're making a living ship, so the personality clash is going to have to come there. But if you can just ask it anything, and it can tell you any obscure fact or knowledge base or anything like that, that's I don't know.
Well, it's interesting that the ship has only asserted itself twice, right?
But so it happens in the future,
when
right?
it discerned that its crew was in emotional peril,
right,
and then it asserted itself to contradict the glasses guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that Dog had been running scans and trying to figure out what was wrong with Georgiou before that guy.
Yeah, and the ship could have said something then.
Yeah, the ship could have offered information a long time ago, and it waited until it became dramatic.
Right.
A little sass on it. But I like how they got this
guy. Don't disrespect me.
No, I love it. Don't let it go because I sometimes am loud and wrong too. So
the
guy was like,
future Saru people. Future Saru people. What's Saru again? Texan. Kelpian. Did I say Texan?
I was just happy it wasn't his sister. That's all I was happy. I was just happy it wasn't his sister. I was so scared it was going to be his sister.
What the species, now that they've lost the ganglia, live for 1,000 years?
For 1,000 years? No.
Man, they learned how to fly and combat pilot in a week. And then season two. We don't know.
It looked remarkably like his sister.
Probably the same actor.
I was
probably the same actor. I
don't care.
So, I mean, hey, look, you want to put that makeup, come back. We're just gonna put some red spots on your face for radiation to make you look different.
You got another check.
Yeah, you got why would you give somebody else a check when you've already worked in the makeup? All you have to do is
it's already fit your face. Go, got it. Go.
Right. So they probably just gave her the same mode. It's like, hey, look, man, we're just gonna put red spots on your face and that's it. Do you think that is gonna emotionally compromise Saru, knowing that his people do exist, or he's just like, because
he knew his people existed. He knew his people were in the Federation.
Yeah,
this is the first time he's seen it.
Just like what's her face, the security officer.
No, actually, it's only been like a month since he's seen his people. Like,
right, it's not been that long.
I mean, he saw his sister, not just his people, his sister. Yeah.
I'm saying, but it's been a month. Like he hasn't been without his people for he hasn't been without his people from his perspective. It's been 1,000 years he's seen his people. He's seen his people.
That's definitely one of my it's a small one compared to everything else going on. But one of my consistent gripes with season 3 is they keep throwing this especially when Saru told Tilly you have 1,000 you jumped 1,000 years into the future that gives you more experience than Mo, and I was like, not really. She didn't download all the information for the last 930 years. That's not how that works.
This works.
You have to sit down. This is a traumatic experience, but it is not the one that you're writing for in your head.
You're writing on the wrong thing. You're harping on the wrong thing.
Yeah. What else? We have not talked much.
I got us off of Mirror Universe.
You did.
Jay's like, my job is done.
It's like you were talking about the Mirror Universe way too long.
I mean,
some of the nitpicks about the guy's uniform that they showed from TNG era uniform. There's been nitpicks online about the badge was wrong. I don't really care.
Yeah, he was on there for 2 seconds.
The show, huh?
He was on there for 2 seconds. Why are you complaining? What is there to complain about?
So
apparently the badge.
Right.
2 seconds of badge footage. Seriously.
Everything else is going
to know
on.
who he was?
Yeah, I'm curious. They mentioned the Time Wars again, and I'm really curious about that. I rewatched the
scene. Always funny to me.
Huh?
Time Wars are funny to me because the sanctions you place on the sanctions you place on at the end of the wars, no one can travel to the past and no one can travel to the future. Are you going to police? How are you going to police that?
Well, we know they do in Voyager. They had an episode where they talked about how they police it, and we know that there's time agents from Enterprise, right? And to be honest, I'm glad they put the thing in. They're messing up whatever the fabric of time is when they do that, because it's super easy to time travel in Star Trek. It is super
people
easy.
Accidentally do it all the time.
Right. There's one. It so kills all canon, but there's one episode in the later season of the original series where they just start the episode. We traveled back in time to study 1960. They don't explain how they got there. It's just it's a normal thing. They time travel. That's how easy it is.
Who's this guy with the badge that you're talking about? I'm not remembering him.
When in the beginning of the episode when Doc is talking to this guy and he's like, there's only been one known instance of universe and time hopping, and he pulls up the hologram.
Oh, yeah.
My question was, is that an actual character or is that just some random Joe Schmo?
No, it's just someone who apparently came through from the same portal the same hole that the ship. Help me out.
So he went
the
to
ship
the
in the Star Trek movie. Yeah.
So he went from the Calvin timeline and came.
I went forward. So he went across and forward. I think that was what Glasses Guy was saying. It's across and forward, and that messes you up.
Even though that doesn't explain Spock, because Spock lived, unless that's what Spock died from, I guess. I mean, I guess you're right. That's kind of sad, but oh, my headcanon. Just ruined my, had my feel good moments about people knowing what happened to Spock. Now it's like, oh no, Spock probably died a horrible, horrible death. Like, all right.
Unless you're Spock, then it doesn't matter, I guess. If you're someone else going across and forward or across back.
I'm assuming, like one of my dyslexic brothers, that they made Spock that we're immune to that, and we could travel back and forth through time and be okay. And
well, it's interesting that the other recorded case is not a human, because I like that would be a way around that, right? Like it depends on your physiology, but they made that a general thing in the race that we saw in Georgiou.
So it's a general thing across the board then, because if they had,
so I'm wondering if Glasses Guy and Georgiou, if they are still giving her a show, I wonder if they're going to be some of the people from that show, because it seems like this could be a springboard. And I rewatched the episode with the scene with the Gate of Eternity with Kirk and Spock, and the gate says I can go forward, backwards, into different realities, pretty much. So that'd be an easy way to her to get back to whatever they want to do with her, if they want to get rid of her. But I don't know.
All right. So I guess that's final thoughts, or Stephanie was looking. Okay, she probably.
I mean, like I have a lot of complaints, and I put a lot of critiques in the chat. I don't know that we need to rehash those.
Okay, well, we have.
Give us your top two critiques that we have.
Michael and Saru. Oh, Michael.
No, I think I see. So as I said in the chat, like it's easy for me to say that like Discovery is not my Trek because I don't like the main character, and that's so fine, right? Like it's so okay. Because I did find a Trek that I love and will forever live in DS9 land, and that's fine. But from like a writing perspective, the show really grates on me because there's no continuity. And so my biggest critique is that Discovery chose a non-episodic format and isn't like holding that up. They're not delivering on. So they have these big overarching plots and this big overarching story that they're telling, but they're not picking up the pieces along the way. And so things that matter especially when they rebooted in season 3, which I understand they did because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but what happens in one episode doesn't really impact what happens in the second episode. There's no like, and what I compared it to is DS9. Like in DS9, which is the other Star Trek that's not episodic in format, the things that happen in season 1 impact what happens in season 7. The individual choices that characters make ripple throughout the rest of the story, and that's not happening here. And it's annoying and it's frustrating, especially because they're tied with such emotional gambits. Like the scene of Michael getting demoted was an emotional scene. Like it gutted people, and it was supposed to. That's what it was designed to do. But it didn't change anything. Literally nothing is different because she's been demoted. Nothing.
She still runs the ship. And it's something I was watching, because every once in a while, like DS9 clips will flip up on YouTube. And there's one that came up where Garrick and Nog were walking on this planet, and Garrick is like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What?" He's like, "I'm surveying for this." And like the captain said, he's like, "No, but you're either walking next to me or behind me. What are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing." And he's like, "Is this about that thing last year where I went crazy?" And he's like, "You tried to kill me."
Yeah.
So, you either walk next to me or in front of me, but I will never turn my back on you again.
Right.
Again, goes, you might survive this yet. And so those little character moments that ripple through the show where stuff matters and it has weight, or and you don't get that in this show. It's like it's kind of like Voyager kind of wasted its premise, in my opinion. I know a lot of people feel like this, but like they sometimes it just felt like they were just in another Star Trek show out there, right? But you like the characters, and they sometimes did, besides poor Harry Kim, like you like to see those characters interact. I don't think this has that, and I don't think it still has the vision of are we telling a saga story here right now, or are we trying to be TNG? And either one is fine, but make up your mind. Like, make up your mind what you're doing. Are you resetting every episode, or because that's what it feels like? You're gonna keep Tilly until all right. Now we're making Captain. Now she's a different Tilly, or we're gonna make Georgiou, and now, but no, we want to. No, we've already done that. Come on, let's move forward. Let's say these characters develop and grow, and let me actually feel like they're a team. And I think Michael's the hindrance to that because I don't think they know what to do with Michael. Honestly, I don't think they know, and I don't think it's her fault. I don't think it's the actress's fault. I think she does a great job.
It's the writers.
It's the writers. And I think if you're gonna focus on her like you are, I need to decide what you're doing for her. And don't you can value the fans' opinion without bending to them.
Yeah.
Just decide what you're gonna do. Just decide what you're gonna do.
Yeah. What? Oh, go ahead.
Well, as Stephanie was talking, I was thinking of Voyager as well because, like growing up, Voyager was my favorite Star Trek. But then we rewatched it a few years, and it's actually really terrible. Like you just like them. It's got so much like time travel that like nothing makes sense. And aside from Tom Paris, I don't think they did a good job of developing character. Well, and the Doctor, they didn't do a good job of like
character growth.
The Doctor is a standout character, and Paris is a standout character because they had growth. Chakotay is the same person he was in the first season. He is in the last season. He has the last memorable storyline he had to me was when the lady stole his DNA and gave him a baby, and he told his spirit dad. His dad was like, "Hey, you don't wrap up. That's what happened." He's like, "No, Dad, it wasn't like." But everybody else stayed the same except for the Doctor, who grew, whose whole storyline through that was to grow, and Paris, who's to grow up, right? Yeah. But you like those characters, right? You thought, like to me, Voyager. Remember there was an episode where they fought fear, where they had to go on this construct.
I was falling asleep.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, please, Anthony, keep going.
No, there was just a lot they could have done with the Lost in Space. And when you thought behind the scenes, they weren't sure if that premise was going to work, so they kept writing in back doors from to get back to the main quadrant, Alpha Quadrant. So that's why I didn't really feel like they had a direction in that either. And I feel like that in this, except I don't care about these characters because you didn't tell me anything about them until this season. Like the crew that you're trying to like Devmer or whatever. Remember, I really wanted to know more about her the first season, and we never learned anything.
Yeah, they definitely could have, especially like with how much the impression was that this was going to be an ensemble season. Like, it would have been really nice to get episodes from other crews' perspectives, right? Like, let's spend an episode on the pilot and the navigator, right? Like, let's just talk about them for a minute or half an episode even. But we don't get that. And it's kind of like, the Bechdel test, like, does a woman exist outside of the purpose of a man? Like, at this point, do these characters exist outside of the purposes of Michael?
Right. And I think Michael jumping into that trill pool is the scene that's this whole show. She didn't need to be in that trill pool. She didn't need to, talk to the guy.
So many faces.
There's just and I think they dialed it back and made where her scenes actually made sense and gave the other crews time to breathe. Because I think I like them. This season's proved to me that I think I like them outside of when the story bends them to Michael's perspective.
Yeah. I think that's part of. I'm going to totally kind of change subject a little bit, but
that's what you're here for.
I think that's part of what made Firefly such a great show. Is there's only one season, but there is an episode dedicated to every member of the crew.
Yeah,
and you walk away from the end of that thinking, "Man, I love this crew. Like they're a great crew. They're great individually,
and they're great together.
Yeah,
and they're great in different pairs.
Right. Yeah,
and I think that's what there's such a rich thing where you can have two different combinations of people interacting, and you can get, oh, this is how they would interact. This is how they would interact. This is how you build on that. And Firefly is a great example because if you read a Firefly comic or if you read a fanfic or anything like that, like you could hear their voices. You could hear all those characters' voices and tell if it's something they would say or not. I don't think most of this crew before this season even had a voice to me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They were pretty props on the bridge.
Yeah.
You okay, Mike? Mo, you gonna make it?
Yeah.
Hey, Mo, I got to make you feel better. Sci-Fi gave Michael Burnham sexiest.
I knew that. I've been on that. I've
It
been
annoyed
on that.
me, but
I've been on that. But
What?
so
Star
they
Trek.
did a top 12 or 10 list of the sexiest
Yeah.
Star Trek characters ever,
She
and Michael
is.
Burnham got number 1.
How is it not Dax?
How is it not Dax?
How is it not Dax?
How is it, Dax?
Excuse me, you don't want to count spots?
No.
So want to count spots.
Distracting. That is so distracting.
That's the point.
Distract me. Distract me.
Okay, all right. Let's
go.
I'm gonna be in my bunk. I'll be back.
Oh, I just feel like we just dropped into an episode of Big Mouth. Wow.
How many episodes of this season are left?
We have what? Terra Part 2, 3.
Are you counting titles? Like you know?
Right.
Oh yeah.
He's one of the writers.
Oh my goodness. Is that why this is such a struggle? You're moonlighting as a Star Trek writer and it's not going well?
We have the Citadel, we have the Good of the People, and Outside. So 4 more episodes.
Damn.
It's brutal.
I would not. If it wasn't that I enjoy talking to y'all, I'd have bowed out, I think.
Yeah, I'm to be 100%. If this podcast were not a thing, I would have dipped out 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, I
James
think
would be watching on his own.
I think
and it just be us, me and James.
The next episode should just be the 2 of you, and you can have a legitimate conversation.
Right, without my it's like they're ranting in some other room. Oh my God.
You guys are probably watching and like, no, that didn't happen. Like, watch or not, like, you know what? Let's try a mirror episode of just me and James now. But no, ultimately, thank you guys for coming to do this conversation. We'll be back next week for part 2.
We just punch Mo through this whole discovery discussion. He's like, all right, my show ain't going nowhere. Get y'all out. Get it out now.
Or just balance my checkbook while they argue.
You're right.
No, it's fun to hear. It's fun because I feel okay. So this is the one thing is where most of the forums I'm in, Discovery forums, are people who I actually purposefully don't go into forums where people don't like Discovery or people have complaints, whether genuine or just complaints, period. So I stay away from that on purpose. So when I do this, it's like it kind of balances my Discovery out a little bit, but
there's a trend. There's a trend of like I hop in the chat mad and you just stonewall me. And then we get on the podcast and you're like, nah, all right.
Yeah.
I don't see that, but okay. And now it makes sense. And now I understand why, because you just sit in this little Mo cell.
Yeah, and so,
happy thoughts.
like seriously, and I feel like it either it just makes my because I really no, honestly, I do want to see what you guys are saying. I want to see all this bad and all this horrible things, but I just can't. And it could be I think Patrick pointed out Michael Burnham is my blind spot because
number 1 sexiest. Dax got last and Michael Burnham got number 1. I don't understand it.
Because life is good. Because 2020. Because 2020.
Oh, that all explains it.
I gotta look up this list. I don't.
Yeah,
it's in the chat.
Is it? I usually follow links that Anthony.
Anyway, so this is where I'm going to close the show out. Thank you guys for coming. This is
everybody.
It's always interesting to have these conversations, whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever it is. I didn't 100% watch the Star Wars show yesterday, but I will go back and rewatch it, seeing as we are going to talk Mandalorian later today. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Stephanie and James. Finally, thank you, Ant. We will see you next week by force for part 2.
Where does this torture end?
This is your pain tube. We will see you next week.
You didn't even give me numbers. Give me episode titles. I'm not going to remember.
For Terraformer Part 2. Thank you guys.